In this tutorial, we're going to look at how we can create a simple layout for a web page, and also look at using division tags to create areas within our web page, and have a look at semantic elements. Let's get underway and start with a blank page, and we're going to start by laying out the areas that we would like to create in our web page. So first of all, what we're going to do is lay out the main elements of our page. To do this, we're just going to draw boxes and put titles within the boxes. So one of the first boxes we're going to start with is actually our header. Now inside our header we may place other boxes at another time, which could be our logo, it could be also the ability to put our navigation in there, it could be the title of the business. But in our website we're also going to place another area just below the header, and we're going to call that nav. This way our navigation will sit underneath our header, and then we're going to follow this by a big blank area that's going to become our main body of our web page, so the main area. This way we can actually contain and keep things separate. And the last thing we want to put on our page is actually the footer. The footer goes at the bottom of a page, much the same as in a document or on a printed document where you have a footer. Now these little containers are like boxes, and the idea is to keep the information consistent within them, especially the navigation, the header and the footer. That way you have consistency across your site. But we need to place them all within one larger box. So what we do to represent this is actually use a dashed line to show that this is a container that encompasses all these other little boxes. So think of it like a box inside of a box. Therefore, we have one outer container, which we'll call container, and then within that we're going to have other little containers which are going to be called things such as header, nav, main and footer. Now we label the container with the word container, but we actually place a hash sign at the start. Now the reason for the hash symbol, when we create the CSS for this page, we need to identify this as a division. So we're going to be using a command such as div space ID equals quote container. And when we want to reference that div ID, we'll have to use a hash container, and it will be in all lower letters. And therefore we can set the container width to 1024 pixels, and that's how wide the page will be. And if we set the margins on the left and right to auto, this will center the page within a larger monitor. So therefore, if you're on a 27-inch monitor and with 1024 pixels wide, you'll have the margins on the left and the right. Now once you have put some of the details in, it's a good idea to start inking in the actual layout. So I use a pencil to do my rough designs, and then I start using a pen to go through and put the information. And therefore this container, which is the header, because it sits inside the container, that's 1024. Therefore our header will be 1024, and we can also set the height to a size that we would like. So in this case here, we're going to set the height to 120 pixels. I'll follow the same procedure with the navigation. Once again, inking in the pencil line, setting this then to its width of 1024 pixels and a height of 40 pixels in total. Therefore, the height of this will have a physical space on the page of 40 pixels, and you won't be able to present or select any of that area. It's like a margin that appears. And the main is going to be the larger part of our web page. So I'll be setting the width again to 1024 pixels, and the height this time will be about 400 pixels. Now the footer is the last container of our web page. It's much the same as the navigation at the top. Once again, a consistent 1024, and also we're going to set a height for this one at 100 pixels. Now once I've completed this, what I'm then going to do is go through and ink in all my section headings, which are going to be part of my div IDs, but I will be using the HTML semantic elements. So therefore, when I'm declaring header, I'll just have a open brace or bracket, the sharp brackets, and then I'll have header in it. Nav will just be nav, main will be main, footer will be footer. Once this is done, I'll just clean off all the pencil with an eraser and then highlight it with a fluoro texture. Then I'll be ready to go and open up Visual Studio Code and start creating this as a web page. So I hope you found this tutorial useful. If you did, like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Once we've completed this, we will create the layout by using our div tags and structural tags and colorizing this with some basic CSS. So I wish you all the best in your web development.